Oh, that's my fault.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody, no, thank you for that. Somebody even said, how do I get that little bar back?
Just touch it.
Somebody was probably, they were all just probably saying we can't hear anything. Is that it?
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Er,
It said, oh, I think,
scroll.
the AI companion needs to not help us. Now we hear you. Yay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'm not sure who that was. Oh, Tammy, Allie, thank you. Good to see you guys out there. I'll try and do a better job of paying attention to that. Okay, so an open house is a great way to pick up inbound leads because it is, it's not every person that comes in, but it is part of the process where you're hosting an open house and someone comes in to snoop around and they aren't currently working with a real estate agent. That's what we all hope for, right? Really, what I hope for is that somebody comes into the open house and they go, how do I do it? How do I buy it? This is the one that I want right here. I need you to help me buy it. That's what I really hope that happens. My secondary hope that happens is that somebody comes in and I have a great conversation with them and they're thinking about moving in the near future and they're not currently working with an agent. That's what I'm really hoping for. And then my third hope is that as I communicate with the neighbors around the open house and they see our office sell a house in their neighborhood, that then they, when they decide to move, want to reach out and touch base with us. So my hope is also that I pick up a surrounding neighbor's listing when they go to list. All of those things are possible. And the way that I do that is through lead generation via hosting an open house. And we sometimes get a ton of great traffic coming in an open house, and sometimes nobody shows up in an open house. My point with this is that generating leads can happen just simply by hosting an open house. You get someone's name, oftentimes you get their phone number and or email address, and that's it, right? You might have a little chit chat conversation with them. You might learn that they have 2 kids and they were just run into the grocery store and saw the sign and wanted like a few more extra minutes to themselves to catch their breath. Like you might learn some stuff about them, but usually you don't gather a great amount of information. This person would then go into my database. I'd put their name, their address, their phone, or their name, their phone number, their email in there. And now it's a game for me. Now I want to tend to that contact and I want to cultivate that teeny tiny spark of a relationship that I've created by them. So if I think all of you guys were here on week 1, you guys remember I called Teresa stalking. It was her birthday. Do you guys remember that? No. In week 1, I just called and I called Teresa, who's an agent, but she also works for the Belton School District. And I didn't expect her to answer, but she did. And I was like, hey, happy birthday. And she was like, thank you so much. And I was like, okay, where are you guys going for dinner tonight? And she was like, I think we're just going to stay home tonight. I was like, okay, well, where's your favorite restaurant? Like where would you typically want to go if it was a weekend? And I found out where some of her favorite places to go was, right? So I noted that down. So that's tending to my database. That's part of the game. I like to play games and I like to win games. I don't like to make cold calls and I don't like to bug people that are in my database. But if I can create a game out of it, my game is how much information can I find out in one phone call? Or it might be how much can I find out in the first quarter? Or it might find out how many people can I find out what their favorite dessert is? And so all it does is it gives me an opportunity to tend to that, keep their information accurate and updated in my database. So I get this person that comes in from an open house. I get a little bit of contact information. I can kind of cheat by going to like Fast People search and putting in their name and phone number. And it'll usually give me a pretty good list of the places they've lived. And I can kind of be like, oh, well, they don't live in South Carolina anymore because they were going to the grocery store in Raymore, right? So even if the houses are out of order, I can kind of like deduce that which address is probably their current one based on where the open house was. So I can sort of cheat and come up with some information. What's another way that I might be able to cheat and come up with some information from them? Anybody social media stalkers like I am? Yeah. Sometimes I can be like, I type in their name and then like, 576 Steve Collins are out there. But I look and I'm like, I met the guy, so I know what he looks like. And then if it's a picture of him or maybe like him and a kid or him, then I'm like, okay, there he is. And I can kind of learn about him on social media. Otherwise, I'm touching base with them. I'm shooting a text message. I'm calling them. I'm putting them on an email campaign. Does anybody use our smart plans through Command yet? Anybody using those well? You what? Okay, perfect. I'm going to have to do a class on that like next week then. So the smart plans, we have an open house follow-up campaign. So if I meet somebody that comes to my open house, I'm instantly putting them on that campaign. And for the next 8 weeks, they're going to get a weekly email from me that's on autopilot. All I do is put them on it. And then each week they're going to get an email and it's going to talk to them about the home buying process, what the market's doing. So they're getting some purposeful, value-driven information from me. What am I doing? I'm tending to that lead. Because if they came to my open house, and I'm not saying you have to do open houses, this is just the example that I'm using right now. If they came to my open house, isn't it also possible that they went to somebody else's open house? Do it.
Affected my spiel on how to get them to fill out my open house registry,
Okay.
but we're working with an agent already.
Okay.
But they still information they're looking for, how soon they're looking to buy.
Okay. Yep. That's a great question. What do you guys do? What do you do, Glenda? You don't? What do you do, Steve?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just for showing up.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. Perfect. Yep. They could be lying because they don't want you to bother them, right? That could happen. Yep.
You have Randy's.
That happens.
No, I bought a whole booklet from the KCRER.
Ask, talk to Randy.
So
Guess what? If you ask if they're working with an agent, 9 times out of 10,
they say,
yes.
yep, that's a fact.
You ask if they have a signed contract with an agent, the way to word it,
Yeah.
you will get a more accurate answer.
Okay.
That's a great tip. So the short answer to your question is I'm with Glenda. If they're already working with an agent, I'm not like, we can't, because that's crossing the agency agreement line. To Jason's point, oftentimes that's their no thanks, I'm just looking,
Yeah.
right? And they might not be. That has evolved for me where I'd be like, oh, that's fantastic. Who's your agent? And then they're like, oh, Bill, okay, well, you don't have an agent. Like,
one person did that, but the other one said that actual name.
yeah. So on mine, if I'm doing an open house, before I really have them fill anything out, I kind of chit chat with them for a little while, but you'll find your own thing. Like everybody's different, right? And I'll be like, I don't know if you guys have a great agent that's sending you market updates right now, but I'm happy to put you on my market update just so that you don't lose sight of what's going on in the market and where prices are at. And then oftentimes they'll say yes or no to that. Like, oh, no, thanks, we're good. Or, oh, Steve Collins is already sending us that. Oh, great. I know Steve, actually. He's, great agent. Like, or they're like, oh, yeah, that would be great. I'm using that as like, I asked them for permission to send them something and they gave me authorization.
Yeah.
So I usually, like, I've kind of got to where, like, I don't even directly ask them that. I'm like, do you have an agent that's already sending you market updates? And sometimes they are, like, they've been on a drip for 5 years, right? And they have no intention. So I kind of just like, but I'm a little bit of I probably walk the gray line a little bit. I'm more of a, like, it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. So I kind of walk that. And if they say no, they don't, I'll be like, oh, I'm happy to send you to what's a good email address for you? And I kind of help them fill out my sheet, unless it's a crazy open house and there's one group after another coming in and I can't do that. I get overwhelmed. But if it's like a 1 or 2 group, I'll kind of help, like, oh, what's a good email address that you like that stuff to go to? And then when they tell me, I'll be like, oh, is that your last name? What is that? Like, and then now I got their first and their last name, or like, Hot Wheels card 1983. Like, oh, were you born in 83? Or, like, is that just a number you pick? Like that kind of stuff. And that's just part of generating a lead, right? That's just natural conversation flow. So I'm tending to my leads. And then that automation, which I already sort of like previewed there, being consistent with outreach and tracking results, often with leverage. So using my campaign, my smart plan, that's a form of leverage, because once I put them on there, now they get something from me for the next 8 weeks without me doing anything further. So that's a leverage piece. I mentioned when we have 4 or 5 different groups of buyers and they all want to look at houses on the same Saturday in the 4-hour window, and 2 groups of them are in the Southland, and one of them's looking at Liberty and the other one's looking in North Kansas City. Like, there's no way to logistically do it. I'll post on our private Facebook group, like, hey, who can show a house for me in Adrian today at 2:00? Or I need to show a house in Raymore between 1 and 4. Is anybody available? And I pay a showing fee. And that's a way to leverage. Glenda and I would love to work with Glenda, anybody, right? Like, I know that our people are going to take exceptional care of them. If you get asked to do that, or if you volunteer, like, hey, I don't have anything going on, I'd love to make a quick $50 or $100 or $20 or whatever it is, that's wonderful. And they're not your client. They're another agent's client. You're just simply facilitating getting them into the property. I usually do this. I'll pull up the disclosure for whatever agent, send them the seller's disclosure so they don't have to. And then, Jason, if it's you and I, like, hey, why don't you book the showing? That way you get the email with the showing instructions, access instructions. Every now and then something will come up and you need to reach out to the listing agent. You get there and the combo they gave you doesn't work. I don't want Jason to then have to call me, and then I'm with another client, or I'm at my kid's volleyball game and I can't hear anything. And then I'm trying to reach out. Like, I just want Jason to have that information firsthand. And I've already done the legwork of sending him the seller's disclosure. And then it's my clients, and he'll be like, oh, okay, so you guys are working with Tim. And they're like, oh yeah, we've known Tim for 5 years now. Jason's like, oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to get the house all opened up for you if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll just let you snoop around. Like, Jason's not trying to steal my people. He's not trying to resell for them. Like, he's not trying to like re-secure the relationship that I have. He doesn't need to do all that. Like, just make a quick 40, $50. It's probably a really great hourly rate and keep moving, right? So that's a way to leverage within the office. It's also really great when you're out of town and a client calls. Like, we got 120 agents that we can call on for that leverage piece. Social media advertising, that's a great leverage piece. Passive and active marketing, that's a great way to leverage your time. Has anybody door knocked for their open house? Yep. Glenda rolled her eyes. Okay, you're out. No more door knocking for you. She hates it. I love to door knock. And also, it requires me to be there in person if I'm going to door knock, right? I don't have the Tony Stark Iron Man suit that's like the AI bot that can knock on the door. I have to physically do it. That's not good leverage. It requires me to be there. So if I want to touch base with clients and I need to leverage my time, maybe instead of door knocking, maybe that becomes an active mailer letting them know about my open house. Maybe that becomes a letter that I write and I put on their door the day before because I'm not going to be able to door knock that day or whatever, right? There's ways for us to leverage that. I could also pay someone else to do that. I could also team up with somebody. Some of our agents have gotten really creative, like, hey, gosh, I got this listing coming live. I need to do an open house. I'm going to be in the south of France for the next 4 weeks. Glenda, can we go 50-50 on it? And you run the open house and everything while I'm gone. Most agents are going to be like, yeah. Then just in case there's any like ambiguity at all, I'm one of those agents that would be like, yeah, if you need somebody to partner with on something, 100%, right? Like that's a great way. And sometimes that's the best way to serve our clients. If you're not going to be very available, the worst mistake I ever made when it comes to a listing, I had a listing go live on a Thursday. I had just gone to Colorado the Wednesday, the day before, to be on a vacation with my family. And guess what we were doing? Hiking. My phone, like I had terrible signal. People were trying to get into that. I'm like, I got to give this thing up. Like, I can't. People are trying to show it. It got multiple offers the first weekend. I'm out of town. I have crappy cell service. Like, it was a disaster. But for some reason, I was like, oh, this will be perfect. I'll have this house go live. Everybody's not going to have any questions. They're just going to go show it. I'm going to get one great offer. I'm going to deal with that via Wi-Fi back at the Airbnb when I get back. Like, in my head, it went one way. And what happened was everybody had questions. Everybody was wanting to know like what the offer needed to be, what the sellers were looking for. Like, it was a disaster. So leverage through people. And then results tracking. If you don't track it, you cannot grow. If you don't track your business, like how many of you guys track your checking account or your credit card balance, right? Like, I don't just keep going to Taco Bell every lunch and cracking out my debit card and never check how much money I have. Like I a lot of times, like I'm pretty much at the point I'm checking account balances like daily. Like, I want to know what hit. I want to know, like, did something hit that I wasn't planning on? I had a year where one of my daughters subscribed to this online clothing thing where you get a box every month. And I'm like, it was on a credit card that I never used, and it just auto pays the minimum because I never used it. I wasn't worried about it. It was like it maxed out. And I'm like, what is happening here? And I had like a lifetime supply of credits from Fabletics. So that was awesome. So I still get clothes from Fabletics whenever I want. Checking and tracking is the only way you know if you're doing any good. So how many open houses did I do? I did 487 open houses last year. How many pieces of business did I get from those open houses? 0. Okay, should I keep doing open houses? No, I should not. But what if I did 487 open houses last year, but I didn't track it? So I knew I did a lot, but I don't really feel like I was doing them all the time. I don't know. And I had a bunch of business going on and business things were going great. I made good money last year. I'm just going to keep doing open houses. Well, all of my business came from referrals from Becca Morales. She gave me all of these leads, and I was just servicing those leads, and I had a great year. And I thought it was because I was doing open houses, but I wasn't tracking where my business was coming from. I wasn't tracking how much time I was spending on open houses or getting prepared for them. So if we're not tracking, we can't grow. So tracking is a big part of it. Even our email plan, we got to get you into our campaigns if you're not, because every time an email goes out, it will track when it's been opened. Did it get opened? Did it get delivered, or did it get returned? If it got delivered, did it get opened? If it got opened, did anything get clicked inside of it? That's like really helpful and handy information to have. I love seeing what my return rate is through my emails. And some people are like, email's kind of on the way out. Nobody checks those anymore. I don't know. I got a really nice listing because I kept doing emails and they kept clicking on the neighborhood nurture link. So things do happen. Okay. And then call to action is just them calling you. Wouldn't you much rather have a business built off of people calling you and asking you questions or asking you for help or asking you to come out and look at their house and see what they need to do to get it ready to sell? That's the desire, right? I want to be the Apple of the real estate. I want people lined up at my door waiting for me to open in the morning. That's ideal. But the only way we do that is to provide a really good call to action. And the only way that we can get a really good call to action is offer so much value to people that they want the knowledge that we have. Okay, questions on that? Okay, boom. Why is my clicker not working? I broke it. I really broke it, actually. Yes, there we go. Cultivating our database. Here we go. Agents who consistently lead gen will have stable growing businesses no matter the market. So remember, prospecting is active and it's direct. So prospecting is like me door knocking. Prospecting is me going to a networking convention or a meeting. Prospecting is me calling my leads. It's a direct action and it requires my personal involvement. That's prospecting. Marketing is passive and it's indirect. I set it up, I design the postcard, or I leverage that out and I have a marketing person design the postcard and I send out 1,500 postcards letting them know that I got a new listing coming active, or letting them know that I've got an open house coming up, or whatever it is. And it's indirect. I don't know when they've seen it. I don't know if they just tossed it in the trash. I don't really have any tactical feedback from it. It's indirect. I don't really have any control over what happens with it. Versus if I'm making a cold call, it's active. I'm doing it. I know if they answered. I know if I left them a voicemail or not. I know if they called me back. I know if I called them a second time. Like, I know all that because I'm personally involved. So prospecting is much more effective than marketing, but it's also way more labor intensive and it eats up time. Marketing also typically has a cost to it. Whereas prospecting, the only thing it costs me is my time. So it depends on what you have more of and which one's more valuable to you. So the idea is to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So I don't know if you guys have read that. There's a study out there where they polled a neighborhood and they were like, hey, who is the top real estate agent in your neighborhood? And it was like, some people didn't know. Some people just like, I'm not sure if they do our neighborhood, but I've heard of this agent. And they like, it was a mixed bag. Then for a year straight, they peppered the neighborhood with marketing and advertising and monthly touches and postcards. And they just made up a real estate agent. It wasn't even a real agent. It was just a market study. And at the end of the year, they did the same poll, like, hey, who's the market expert in here? And it was like 84% of the neighbors said that fake agent's identity because they were getting all that marketing from it. Hadn't sold one house, isn't even a real person, but they thought that person was the neighborhood expert because they were seeing their name and seeing their face all the time. So I said, hey, great job on your social media. If I saw Tori's social media posts out there, I think you were at an open house and you were like, hey, I'm doing this open house today. And people that see that stuff on social media, they don't know if it's the first open house she's ever done or the 1,001st open house she's ever done. And the more she does that, as people are searching and hunting, they see Tori over and over and over again, especially the people that she's organically connected with in social media. Before long, they're not even going to remember what you used to do for a living. And they're going to be like, oh man, I need to call Tori. Tori knows this, Tori knows that. And Tori is knowing this and knowing that because you're in houses all the time now, right? So part of this playbook is to get out and tour houses, even if you don't have a client. If you're running to the grocery store and there's an open house, pop in and look at it. If you're dropping your kid off at school and you see that there's a new listing, schedule an agent preview, get in it and mention something about the house. Because you just getting in it, you start learning what's going on in the housing market. What about pricing per square footage? What about pricing per neighborhood? What about features, floor plans? Like you learn all that stuff. And then all you did was share that you were on an open house. I mean, you really didn't do anything magical that no other agent has done. It was brand awareness. It was mind share. And I know you guys have all done a great job of that, but I just happened to see yours and it was like, that's awesome. Like, people now are going to start associating Tori with being in houses and real estate and the questions that they might have. She's probably got the answers to. Okay, so here's how this looks. We've got prospecting dumping into our lead funnel, and we've got marketing dumping into our lead funnel. Some of these leads are going to be high priority. Our command database actually lets you prioritize what kind of lead you have. Is it just a lead that I just need to nurture? Is it a lead that's getting really warm? Like, hey, they said that they were going to move in 2026. Well, guess what? Now it's 2026. So we're getting kind of warm. My marketing and my touch base needs to ramp up with these guys. And now they said they want to move as soon as school gets out. Well, shoot, now we're only 60 days away from schools being out. So now they're a hot lead for me. And then once school gets out, they become an active lead. Like we're looking, we're hunting, we're getting their house ready to go. So knowing where in the lead pool they are is also wildly important. And then here we go. Once they're a lead, we make sure that we get them into our contacts. We put them into our database. We're doing marketing, and then we're going on appointments. But I can't do this if I'm not talking to people and I'm not marketing, right? Because otherwise you're a secret agent. James Bond is super cool, except for when he's a real estate agent. Then he's not so cool because nobody knows to use him. Prospecting and marketing activities. Okay, I skipped way ahead here. Now we're over to page 25 in your book. Okay, this is the slide that literally goes with book 25. Okay, prospecting, quarterly calls, texting people, apartment canvassing. Why would I want to canvass an apartment complex? They're not going to rent forever, right? That's a really good buyer pool because how many people do you know that they're just like I just can't rent anymore. Every time I come up the stairs, it smells like pot and I'm sick and tired of it. I have 47 kids now and I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. My dog just had puppies and now I've got 6 dogs and I'm way over the rent, like whatever. Eventually people just are dying to buy a house, right? So they don't always want to rent. So those are active buyers. And what's really cool about them is I don't have to line anything up because they don't have anything that they have to sell. So what's really cool is when you get those sellers that they need to find something and they're trying to coordinate their move, guess what is a huge value add to them? We're super flexible as buyers because we don't have anything to sell. We can do delayed closing and possession. So meaning we could close on a Tuesday and not take possession until Thursday. So it gives those sellers a couple of days to move out of the house. And it's not going to hurt my people's feelings at all. because we don't have anything that we're trying to line up. We don't have to worry about getting our money from our sell to get to closing. We don't have anything to sell. So they can become some of the best buyers. And usually they're not picky, because after you've lived in a 750 square foot apartment for 2.5 years, everything looks perfect. They're like, this is great. This is so much space, or this is awesome, or what, like, oh, it's got a yard. This is perfect. Like, everything looks great. Networking events, door knocking, and we've already hit on some of those. Okay, so here's both, right? Both would be open houses. I got to personally be there, and I'm going to do some stuff, but I'm also going to market around it, going to and hosting seminars. Anybody ever done like a new buyer seminar yet? First time home buyer seminar? I'll tell you a success story. I partnered with one of my lenders, and I did a first time buyer seminar. I did very little talking. I know that's hard to believe. 5 to 10 minutes worth. And my lender did 90% of the talking. And he talked about what it takes to get financed, what kind of documents that they're going to need. And we had 8 people show up to it. And it was an hour, and it cost us maybe $100. We got like some finger foods from Price Chopper. And I had one buyer that I got from out of those 8. I got one buyer. She then introduced me to her, and she bought a house. It was her first time. She was a first time buyer. She introduced me to her brother. He bought a house. She introduced me to her stepbrother. He bought a house. She called me back when she was ready to sell. I then sold her first house. We bought her second house. In the meantime, her brother sells his first house, gets married. They buy a new house. Right now, I'm shopping with their mom, and she's buying a new, like, it's turned into a ton of business. And that was from doing $100 first time home buyer seminar for an hour. And it took almost zero prep work, because my lender had the playbook on it. And all I did was just kind of provide some people for it. And he actually provided one person too that ended up using a different agent. So he's dead to me now. How do you find those people? Call any lender. Like Todd Branson will do one with you. Mine was Jordan Williams. He's with AP Mortgage. Trevor Tannehill does a really great one. Who's the gal from Illuminate that the Finns used to use? She does a great. Lacey Moores out of Lee Summit usually does a really great one. And that's part of their like value proposition. If you call a lender and you're like, hey, can we grab some lunch? Can you buy me lunch and talk to me about putting together a first time home buyer seminar? I guarantee you there is not one lender that'll be like, no, that's not going to work for me. They're all going to be like, freaking heck yes, man. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it right now. Let's eat right now. Because you're giving them an opportunity. One, they want to connect with agents. And 2, they want to connect with people that might be buying. So they'll usually have a really great playbook for that. So I would just ask if you, once you start kind of getting your KW email and start using it, you'll just have random lenders just reach out to you and be like, hey, I've got this new program I want to run by you. And Steve Casterline, Steve does an awesome job. And he's in Belton, or where's his new office? Belton, right? Steve Casterline's phenomenal with first-time buyers. And he's like really patient. He's a Cass County guy. Like he goes to the lake. I mean, he does all the stuff we do. Steve is a great guy. He's really been good to our office. And he loves doing seminars. He used to do a lot of agent seminars at Brewbakers, and they closed down on him. I think he was keeping him in business for a while. But yeah, Casterline. And he's with Supreme Lending. I'll shoot you, get his contact info from me afterwards. Steve's a great guy. I like Steve a lot. He'll go to lunch every day of the week. Like, yeah, he's really good at that. I'll connect you to a group thread, and he's awesome. You'll like Steve. Community events, like we do the trunk or treats, and you can host your own community events. Do something. Chris Bradley, she brought in I think it was Aloha Shave Ice to her neighborhood. Her HOA happened to do like a trash cleanup day where they set a big like roll-off dumpster at the beginning of the neighborhood. And if you had crap to throw away, you could bring it and dump it in there. Well, her HOA sponsored that. I've also heard of agents doing that. And if you're not the neighborhood expert in your own neighborhood, that's your own fault. Just go around and be like, hey, what if I hosted a trash day and I spend $500 to bring a dumpster in here, and you just camp out there all day to make sure people aren't throwing crap on the ground and stuff. And when it's full, you got to cut it off. And you just get to introduce yourself to all the neighbors, and they're super thankful you're providing a service. Yes, it costs money. So that would be both, right? That would be marketing and prospecting. But what happened was Chris Bradley's HOA sponsored the dumpster. So she was like, hey, I'll throw a few $100 at this thing. And she brought Aloha shaved ice out there, and they brought their mobile truck. And then every family that came up there got to get a shaved ice snow cone thing from them. Chris introduced herself. I think she even had her little decal on all the cups. Like, what a great way. And no agent has sold more houses in her neighborhood than she is. She really is the neighborhood expert. Now, she doesn't get all of them, but she sells more houses in her own neighborhood than any other agent. Rightfully so. She's right there, right? So community events, social media is both, right? Because social media can be free. Yet if you do a purposeful campaign through social media and throw some dollars at it, you can target your own database, right? So you can do a paid campaign in social media where the people that you're organically connected with keep seeing your stuff over and over again. You can also do geotagging. So if I'm going to do an open house in Creekmore this weekend and I want to do an open house campaign, I can pay Facebook to target only the people that live in Creekmore. Yes? Sure. Okay. I don't either, but somebody does. You can actually do that through command. It's super easy. So we can totally do a class on that. Email, that's both as well, because you can actively do it as a part of your prospecting, or you can passively do it as a part of your marketing. So for me, I might have an email that I want to personally send out, like Steve's thank you. If I got their email address, I'm probably going to send them a personalized thank you email, as well as a postcard if I can get their address. But then I'm also going to have my automated passive marketing email blasts that go out. Think Neighborhood Nurture campaign, 8x8 campaign. Thank you for coming to the open house campaign, new buyer campaign, happy birthday email. That's saved my butt so many times. If you're not good at remembering stuff, put your people on a birthday campaign and it will remind you. And if it reminds you and you still don't do your job, it'll send it out automatically. I've gotten a text message before on my phone and it was like, thank you, heart, heart, heart. I'm like, what did I do? And my Twilio account had text them a happy birthday on my behalf because I failed to do my job and my automation system caught me. It was a safety net. And then all of these marketings, right? Online advertising, offline advertising, mailers and flyers, newsletters, blogs and vlogs. Like that's a big, that Ryan Finn, he's been doing really good about making videos for how long now, man? 2 years. And he's been really successfully, like regularly posting market updates, what's going on with the government and with interest rates, what they've got going on as a team. And it's a very nice, it comes out, you get an email and it's what's going on in the Finn group and you click on it and it's Ryan's video and he's either sitting at his desk or he's at the island in his kitchen or he's sitting out on the back patio, whatever. And it's just a way to get in front of people. Steve Casterline, again, I can screen share, but I don't want to alienate the people that are logged in remotely. Steve Casterline, every Friday, I get a video. It's a text message and it's just him holding his phone. And he's like, hey, I just wanted to remind you, I'm going to be at the lake house this weekend, but I am working. I got my phone on me. Call me if you need a pre-approval or anything. I'm still working. Have a great weekend. That's awesome. And it's super easy because it's just him touching base. And it's both, right? Because he's actively sending me, it's not an automation. It's actively him texting me, but also it's passive because he recorded a video and he might have recorded one video and sending the same video to everybody, but he's just sending it to the agents that he does business with. It's a great way. And I'm seeing his face and it's personalized because he's talking to, it's like, that's a great way to do that. So all kinds of ways that we can do marketing type advertising, both passive and indirect. Any questions on that stuff? Yes. I do a newsletter. I can totally do that. I totally cheat because I try to do things that require as little effort as possible. I bought a newsletter template on Etsy that's designed for Canva. So my newsletter is in Canva, and here's what I do every month. I change the color of it, right? So it looks different because I changed the color of it. And all I'm doing is I'm just copy and pasting articles from Market Trends. So Market Trends sends us those articles. All I'm doing is copying and pasting the idea over. And if it's a really good one, I'll literally verbatim copy and paste. And I just put the link on there so that when people open it in their email, they click on it and it takes them to Market Trends. So I'm not even writing any of that content. I'm directing them all to Market Trends. And if they click on the Market Trend stuff and go there, guess whose information it's branded to? Mine, because it's my MLS profile that they're going to within Market Trends. And then I'll do this. I always spotlight a business. So it might be Pillar to Post. It might be Air Experts Heating and Cooling. It might be Jack's Garage here in Belton. It might be the Mary's Mountain Cookies on Main Street. Whatever it is, it might be Tavern at the Moor at Creekmore. I'm just highlighting a business. So that's my business to business touch. I make sure that they get it. And then I look to see if they've opened it. And inevitably I'll get a text from James at Air Experts last month, was like, thanks for highlighting our business, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
You don't go to the business before.
Nope. Now, some people would be like, I don't know, you better get their permission. I promise you, everybody that I'm in business with wants me to advertise for them for free. Every single one of them, right? And if you don't have a preferred vendor notebook or list or something, start building one, because that's another easy call to make for getting business. Who's your lawyer? Who's your dentist? Who's your painter? Who's your dog groomer? Who's your hairstylist? Who's your shoe shine guy? Who's your dog poo picker upper guy? Like whatever it is, I want to put them in a list. And then I'm going to give those to my clients and people. Hey, if you want to know who our preferred vendors are, here they are. Feel free to call any of these people. If you use any of them, would you please call me and give me feedback as to how they treated you and how they work for you? Because I like to keep that up to date. Because sometimes people come back off the preferred vendor list, right? I want to get rave reviews from all the people that are on my list. And if I ever don't get one, they might get replaced. Or it's an opportunity for me to call that business owner and be like, hey, I just thought you should know, Tony, one of my clients, Glenda, called your office. You guys came out, you spent an hour with her talking about the deck that she wanted to build. And then she never received a quote. And so she ended up using somebody else. So I don't know who that was that went out to meet with her, but I just wanted to let you know, because Tony might be like, oh my gosh, like he would have had no idea. His salesman just, had a call. And so sometimes you're really helping your vendors by having a business conversation with them, and they're going to appreciate that. Anyway, I digress, but that's a great relationship. It's an easy business to business call. Even if you're not using them, hey, I have a new car and I haven't brought it in for service anywhere other than the dealership. But like Jack's Auto, for instance, I used to know Tim Mellinger before he retired, and I don't bring my cars in, but I get a lot of requests. And when my car's out of warranty, I'm definitely going to start using you guys. Can I add you to my preferred vendor list? Yep, sure can. Like they would love that, right? So the newsletter, I then downloaded out of Canva and put it into Command, which sounds complicated, but it takes like 4.5 seconds. I put it into Command because I want to know when people open it. So I put it into Command. That way, when I email it out, and also that allows me to blast it out to like 4,000 people at once. So it sounds complicated, and it probably will seem a little cumbersome the first time you do it. And when you start doing it every month, it might take me 15 minutes in total, because I copy and paste and I'm changing the color. But for the most part, like my picture stays the same. My header and footer stays the same. I change it from January to February and from February to March. I just don't overcomplicate it, because I feel like if I send it out to 5,000 people, like 5 people are actually going to look at it. So I don't spend too much time on it, but they're getting something from me and it looks super professional because I didn't do it. Right. Yeah. So, but yes, can totally share that with you. You could just have mine, and I've already bought it. So, okay. Sorting and cultivating our lead gen priorities. All right. Let me back up real quick. On page 25, see where it has the arrows like time or money? market of the moment, evergreen market, enjoyment, or work. Remember when I mentioned door knocking and Glenda was like, oh gosh, kill me now, and rolled her eyes? I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like work to her and it sounds like no fun.
That is not true.
I'm exaggerating. I'm messing with you, Glenda. Oh.
He did not.
Oh, cool. So every door you knock, they were like, we love Paul. He's our agent forever. Sure. So Paul's dead to you now and you'll never do an open house for him ever again. I got it. I got it. Sounds like I'm not doing one for him either. That sounds like work to me, right? But then you go like, hey, join a summer golf league and you get to talk to 50 guys every Monday night for 2 hours. Now that sounds like enjoyment to me. And if I get a lead or get a home sale out of that and I'm playing golf in the warm summer outdoor air, heck yes, sign me up, right? So what we're looking for is we're looking for something that will do and that matches where we're at right now. Sometimes I'm so broke, I'm like canceling my Spotify subscription, right? Because I need that extra $9. So I'm going to spend more time, but I'm not going to spend money. And then sometimes it's like, man, I just had a $30,000 month and I was so busy and I haven't seen my kids for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like I need a break. Well, I'm going to pay now to do some stuff because I need my time back, right? Or I'm just naturally kind of ebbing and flowing somewhere here in the middle where sometimes I edge towards time, sometimes I edge towards money, sometimes it feels like work, sometimes it's enjoyment. Like we're kind of just ebbing and flowing all the time, just based on how we feel. Market of the moment versus evergreen market. Evergreen market is this. Are people always buying and selling in Raymore? Yes or yes? Yep. So is Raymore an evergreen market? Yep, they sure are. And also there's things that happen that make the market change and it becomes a market of the moment. When interest rates plummet to 3%, did home sales go through the roof? Yes, that was a market of the moment, right? So I'm always going to market and be engaged in Raymore because people are always buying and selling houses in Raymore. And my marketing is going to be around the community and what it has to offer and the school district and the highway access. And that's never going to change. It's going to be evergreen. It's never going to change. And I'm also not going to expect to sell 10 million houses this year in Raymore. But I might expect to sell 5 or 6 or 10 or 15, right? And it's always going to be that way. And then when the plummet interest rates hit 3%, guess what my marketing goes around? That. The market of the moment. Interest rates are only 3%. If you've been stuck in an apartment and you're trying to get out, it's probably cheaper to buy right now than to renew your lease. Right now, I'm going to market to what's happening in the exact moment. And even when, remember, we went to like 9% interest, and now we're back at, I just had a client at 5.18. That's where they're at right now. Well, remember the 30-year trend line that we talk about all the time? What's the 30-year average? 7.1 something. So anything under 7 is good. Anything under 7 is a good interest rate. So when you're almost at 5, freaking quit waiting and buy right now because they're not going to go down to 3 again. And if they do, refinance, right? Okay. So on that line, find where you're at and this is how you determine what activities you're going to do based on what you need the most of right now or what you have the least of. I have no time right now. Cool. Then I'm going to do a crap ton of marketing. Or I have no money. Great. I'm going to do a ton of door knocking, just not in Paul's neighborhood. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's 10:49. Oh my gosh, there's just not enough time for any of this. Okay, sorting. The easiest way to sort is to put them into a CRM. That's the easiest way to sort your people. If you're a part of Keller Williams Southland Partners, you're already paying for Command. Command is one of the most robust CRMs that are out there. Other people use all kinds of different CRMs, and there is nothing that they can do that Command can't do. It's a super robust, well-oiled machine now. It had some bumpy starts, but now the CRM part of it is top-notch. And you fill it over time. Remember, this is a building game. I'm going to get their name. I'm going to get their phone number. I'm going to get their address. If they've been in my CRM for any length of time, I probably have their birthdays, their wedding anniversary, their kids' names, their kids' birthdays, their dogs' names, their dog birthdays, their home anniversary, what their favorite restaurant is, what kind of wine they like, where their favorite coffee shop is. The more of that kind of information that I have, the more hyper-focused I can be with my touches. Now my calls and my touch bases look super personal. It used to be that on birthdays, I just sent them a $5 Starbucks gift card. Well, some people don't like Starbucks. I do, so everybody got what I liked. And then that way, if they didn't like it, they could just give it back to me. Now it looks hyper-focused. And if you need a book around this, write down The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you haven't read The Thank You Economy, I highly recommend reading it. Gary is brilliant when it comes to hyper-personal touches. And he has a strategy around that. The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you just put in Gary V, he will pop up. That was a bestseller book, and he was one of our keynote speakers at Family Reunion this year, and I freaking loved him. That book is all about finding out personalized information from people so that you can reach out to them hyper-personally. So like one of my clients, they're super funny and quirky, and they geek out over Shark Week every year. It's like they're having snacks and they're doing watch parties at their house, and they have friends that watch Shark Week, and I don't get it, but it's totally cool. So every year I find some stupid little shark trinket and I send it to them. And now they're like expectant. And they're like, what's he going to find this year? I don't know if I can top last year. It was these bracelets called Follow bracelets. And then you like put them on and it had a shark on it. And it's like you get a shark tracking app that goes with it so they can see like their shark and where it's at. I don't know how to top that now. And it was like $20, but they like geeked out over it. Carrie was like, this is awesome. This is so cool. Segment and tag. Organize and categorize people within your database. Okay, so the best way to organize them is through our tagging, which is built into Command. So what do tags look like? Tags look like this. Have I met them or have I not met them? Were they a referral from someone else? Are they part of my sphere of influence? Are they currently a renter? Are they a past client? Are they on the do not call registry? Is it incomplete information? I have smart plans around incomplete information. If I have their phone number but no email, I have a smart plan that I can just send it out to everybody who I don't have an email for. And they'll get a text message from me and it'll say, hey, this is Tim Crable. I was going to shoot you an email, but I realized that I don't have a current email address for you. What is it? And about 10% of the people respond back with their email, and I shoot that out about every 6 months, and I get more information every time. I also have one that's for people that I have their email, but no phone number. And usually that's like open house people. They just real quick scribble something down. Hey, it's Tim Crable. I was going to text you something the other day, and I noticed I didn't have your phone number. Did you change your phones? What's a good phone number for you? Again, about 10% of the time, somebody emails me back with their info, and I get more contact info. Are they a homeowner? What year did they buy their house? Why is that important? Because if they just bought their house a year and a half ago, it's probably going to be a little while before they move, probably. If they bought their house 10 years ago, it's highly probable that it's in their near future that they're going to be moving, right? It lets me know where they're at on the buy-sell cycle. Are they qualified? I have people in my database right now, and these are just canned. I mean, you can do it to anything. What neighborhoods do you desire to do business in? I live in Richmond Park. So guess what? I have everybody that's in my database that lives in Richmond Park tagged Richmond Park because I might want to send them information about our homeowners association meeting that's coming up. I might want to send them an information that we just got a new neighbor. I might want them to know that High Blue Wellness Center is doing a new renovation of the outdoor play area because they have kids and they just walk there, whatever it is. If I have buyers that they're not qualified yet, that's something that I hate hearing from Steve Castroline. It's not a no, but it's a not right now. Like we've got some credit that we got to clean up, or they got great credit and they have $1 to buy a new house with, whatever. So I want to know, I want to still stay in touch with them. I want to still get them there. That we're just not going to be shopping this weekend, right? So those are just ways to organize your database so that you can group people accordingly. Have they come to a client event before? That's a big one for me. if they've come to a client event before, I want to make sure that they always get the invite. Okay, so tagging your database for personalized and effective communication. That's a good way to communicate, obviously. And then getting into some of the automated things, the touch plan, our campaigns. These are systematic, automated touches over a long period of time. So remember from this tag, if they bought in 2023, it might be 2030 before they're ready to move again. But I don't want to just wait until 2030 to contact them again. I want them to know what's going on in every phase of this cycle. They're ready to buy right now, and they buy, and now we're going through here because this time span is about 10 years on average before they buy or sell again. But I don't want them to forget about me no matter where they're at in that wave. I always want them to know where they're at or where I'm at. I'm making deposits when people are in the valleys to be their go-to when they're ready to go. Like nothing like makes me more excited when I get a text message out of the blue and it's like, hey man, we're thinking about selling and moving to Raymore. What do you think about the timing right now? Freaking thank you. Like it validates all of the 10 years of emails that I've been sending out to these people with no response. That literally, Debbie and I've got a listing coming up right now. We sent these people flowers when they had a baby. We've done pop buys and left stuff on their front. I mean, nothing. Like, I'm like, did they move and just not tell us? Like, I mean, we got nothing. And then just like randomly, Lauren called Debbie and was like, oh, we're out of space. I'm pregnant again. We need a new house. And so now we're selling their house that they just bought like 5 years ago. And that's because we've just stayed in touch. Like we've stayed in front of them, right? And this is just an average. Some people move every 2 years, right? And they buy their way out every time because they never have enough equity. Unexpected life events can accelerate this. This is a great way to look at things to reach out to people. If they just got married, if they just got divorced, if their kids graduated from high school, if their kids are going off to college, if they had a baby, if they're pregnant, like all of these things are reasons to call it. Life events matter. If you see somebody post like, oh, Tony just got a new job. We're so excited. It's his dream job. Well, he's probably making more money then if it's his dream job. So reach out to him. He's probably going to be ready for a new house. 36 touch plan. This is just a lead gen strategy. Quarterly calls. So if you make a quarterly call, you're talking to everybody at least 4 times, right? Personal cards and notes. Again, once a quarter, maybe a birthday, maybe it's a holiday card. Maybe it's a neighborhood nurture update card. Maybe it's a I just sold or just listed or a I just got my tongue pierced and thought you should see a picture of it card. Like whatever you want to send out. 4x4. This is events or giveaways. So there you go. There's more touches. We're always doing stuff here at KW. It's a great thing to invite them to be a part of Red Day, KW Cares, invite them to Trunk or Treat. And why is it so many? Because I usually do this, like, hey, don't forget or save the date, right? And send them a piece of mail. Hey, next week is the event. It's a reminder. Send them a piece of mail. Hey, thanks for coming, or sorry you couldn't make it. Another piece of mail. Hey, the next event's going to be this. Another piece of mail. All around one event, right? Monthly newsletter. That one's got 12 on there. I think I got 12 out last year. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure I did. If you don't want to do a monthly newsletter, can you do a quarterly? Yep. Can you do a biannual newsletter? Yep. Building your 36 touch plan is easy if you use Command because it has a system built in for it. You can do it all on autopilot if you want to. And then practice and role play conversations. And this is where we're going to wrap up today. Oh, sorry. I didn't keep shouting out page numbers. We did 26. We did 27. We're on like the 29, 30. That kind of, those kind of pages, 29, 30 through 33. And I'm wrapping up with this because we're not going to spend enough time on conversations today, but I'm going to encourage you guys to get into practice and role play. What we do in Bold, Glenda, you've done Bold before. You partner up with somebody as your accountability partner. Steve, you've been in Bold. Like we have somebody that we call every day And it can be a 5-minute phone call. That's all it is. Hey, how's it going today? Here's what I want to role play. And we're going to talk about this. And you have one sentence. If you look at page like 32 or 33, like objection number 1, a potential buyer says interest rates are too high and they want to wait for rates to adjust before they buy or start looking at homes. Is that stuff that clients actually say? Yep, it is. Isn't it cool that we can rehearse and practice responding to that with other agents that have heard different responses to that? Yep. So we can go, hey, Glenda, we're going to do objection number 1. And I just am asking Glenda, like we're having a conversation. So how are you, like, what are you thinking timeline wise? And Glenda's like, hey, you know, I don't know, like interest rates are just so high right now. Like, I don't know if I can really afford anything. I think I'm just going to wait for rates to adjust before I buy, before I start looking. So when they come down, then I'll start looking. You know, that I hear that a lot, Glenda. And here's my thoughts on that always. 1, interest rates never outpace inflation. They never do. So our houses on our 30-year trend line, remember our houses, they appreciate on average 4 to 6% every year. So if the interest rates are 2% higher than where I really need to be, that's still less than the 4 to 6% that the house is going to appreciate, right? And you guys have all seen where Lonnie draws it up on here, like the cost of waiting. Yep, you saved by not buying right now, you saved $2,200 in interest, but the house would have appreciated $8,600. So by waiting and worrying about the interest rate, you actually lost $6,000 last year. Smart move, right? Not to mention your rent, right? Or staying put and being miserable for a little bit. So talking through that, like, hey, that's a great thought. And yet I don't think you're thinking about the rate of appreciation that the house is going to be at. It's going to outpace that interest differential. Plus the other negative to that is a lot of people have the same sentiment. So what'll happen is if you wait for the interest rate to drop and then you jump into the buyer market, you're jumping into the buyer market with a bunch of other people that are doing the exact same thing. And when demand is really high, what happens to prices? They go up. So you might save an interest, but now you got to pay an extra $10,000 for the house that we could get right now for $10,000 less. So just, hey, no pressure at all. Just some things to think about, because that's my job, is to make sure that we're looking at all angles, because ultimately I want to get you the best value that we possibly can for your dollar. And leave it at that. Let that stew for a little bit, right? So practicing those so that when you're in that position, you're prepped and ready to go. Practicing conversations builds experience with having technical, emotional, and strategic conversations with clients. That's what we want. We don't want to always be like day one, the greenie trying to figure it out. We want to practice these conversations, because when we're confident, we know what to say. If we know what to say, we can focus on being active listeners. We can listen to what their problems are, because oftentimes clients will do this. They'll tell you this is what they're most concerned about. And then they get off in the weeds and they talk about a bunch of other stuff. And if we weren't really paying attention, it's hard for us to bring them back to their original motivation. When they get off in the weeds, we can be like, well, wait, hang on. Help me understand though, because originally you said that you wanted to be there by August because you wanted to be in that school district. So what's the most important thing? Is it being in that school district, or is it finding the 2-story house with the whatever? But if I'm always thinking about what I'm going to have to say and respond, then I'm not able to do as much active listening. And these are all just part of our lead gen and lead follow-up strategies. So I made a mental note. Crystal, I know we've got 2 classes that we need to teach for you. Jason, I need to connect you with Steve Casterline. Seminars are a great way to do it. Trevor Tannehill is a great lender. He's with U Mortgage, and Trevor does a bunch of online trainings for agents, because his lead gen is he's trying to connect with agents because he wants agents to funnel their buyers to him. He also tries to hunt for buyers on his own, but he likes to connect with agents. So anything that you want to learn about, he's usually got like an online seminar that he's hosting. So there's like, we can do that stuff too. So it doesn't always have to be an in-person one. You could throw a social media thing out there and be like, hey, I'm going to do just a quick 30-minute online webinar about the top 5 pitfalls that first-time buyers fall into. Who would have interest in being a part of that? I'll send you a link, or shoot me a DM and I'll get you an invite. You might have 8 or 10 people that just want to show up on a Zoom because they can do it at work or they can do it at home. That might be a good intro way for you to do it. And then just jump on Chat GPT if you don't know what those 5 pitfalls are, and Chat GPT will give you, ask for 10, right? What are 10 pitfalls they fall into? They think they need to put 20% down, so they don't buy because they think that they need to save up $20,000. They buy something on credit in the middle of the process and it screws up their ability to be able to close. That's a really big one. What's another big one on that one? Job change. They change jobs in the middle of the, like, these are all things. Not everybody knows that. So these are just some ideas for different lead gen. The most important thing would be find a system.
Also, lender one.
Yeah, leader one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me and Kelsey, we're doing the home and garden show in a couple months.
Yep.
And they usually, if you partner with them on any sort of like event,
Mm-hmm.
or it becomes to be like a vendor event, they usually pay half of the cost.
Absolutely. Yep. Once you start working with them and you get clients and you want to do a client appreciation party, John Mooneyham moved from here over to our Lee Summit Market Center. He does a great job at hosting client appreciation events, and he hardly ever pays for anything because he'll bring like his lender and his title person, and then they're ponying up money, or he'll have like his heating and cooling guy, or who, like, they'll partner on that stuff with you. Todd Branson does a great job of that. If you're going to do an open house and you're going to print a bunch of color brochures off, have Todd print them for you. And then you don't have to pay for the brochures, and he'll want to dual brand it. He'll want to put his info on it too, but I don't care. I love working with Todd. So that works out great, so there's lots of opportunities like that where a lender or a preferred vendor will partner up with you on stuff. So yeah. Any questions as we close and get out of here?
What was the line you said? The rate of appreciation limit outpaces.
Yeah, the rate of inflation. Yeah, so if interest is at 7%, right? And I'm throwing out the outliers here because the difference between 3% interest and 7% interest is 4%, right? So that in those wild cases, when we jumped from 3% interest to like 9, well, you might wait, right? Because that's 6% difference. The house may not appreciate 6%. But if the interest rate is only going to go from 7% to 5%, that's only a 2% difference. But if I buy the house today, a year from now, it's increased 4 to 6%. So if I'm waiting to save 2% on my interest rate, but I missed out on 4% of appreciation on the house, I lost money. To save 2%, I blew 4, right? So that's that disparity gap there. That's a fact. That's a fact. Yep. That's exactly right. So yeah, a lot of times when people are waiting on interest rates, their time in the market, like it's like they're not actually saving any money. And the biggest caveat isn't even the rate of appreciation, it's the price of the house. Because what we saw happen was when interest rates plummeted, people were paying $50,000 over ask price, waiving appraisal, waiving inspections, like throwing stupid money at it because that's what it took to get it. But they got a really sweet interest rate. Yeah, but it took you 10 years to make up the difference of the extra 50 you spent when you bought it. So if you're not going to stay in it for 15 years, you actually lost money. You got a sweet interest rate, but it didn't help you at all. But people don't think about that. They just see the sticker, right? And they go, crud. Interest rates are 6%. Yeah, that's phenomenal. But they don't know. But they're not in it every day, right? We're seeing the patterns. We're studying the trends. Like, I'm not crumbing on them. They don't know. And most of them, they hear what's on the news. And then it's just the echo chamber of like, it's a terrible time to buy. Houses are at 7% interest rate. Yeah, but look at the prices falling too, right? Like, so.
What's Trevor?
Trevor Tannehill. Oh, perfect. No, that's great. That's great.
What about the Army Hamilton? Is that illegal?
Because the office would probably not let you take it.
It's not illegal, but some. Okay, what was this? Did I miss one? I can't see any of these. How do I do this, guys?
I don't think guilt.
It is soliciting, and some of them, some apartment complexes won't let you do that. So you just have to watch, like, you just have to pay attention to what the actual, like, as far as Keller Williams, South and Partners, or the law, no, it's just you're going onto private property in an apartment complex. So some apartment complexes, it's private property. So it'd be like you walking onto my property, right? Like, they'll say no soliciting, or that's okay, but can I market to them via a mailer in their mailbox? 100%. I just may not be able to go door to door in the apartment complex or host some sort of something or other on their premises, or
You're talking about the place.
yeah.
Most of them are like law. They're all law.
No. Like even if you live in an apartment complex, you might be 3430 apartment B, right? I'm going to send my mailers out to everybody, and I'm going to include your complex. And so in your mailbox, 3430B, you're going to open it up and you're going to get a postcard from Tim Crable, and it's going to be like, oh, no, we can't do that. Yeah, that is illegal. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. No, I'm talking about marketing to them. Yeah.
What if you go door to door? Like stick your car on the door?
That's the thing that I'm saying. It just depends on the apartment complex, because some apartment complexes don't allow soliciting, and that would be soliciting. Yeah. And you're on private property, so then they could call the police on you, like, hey, some guy, so on most apartment complexes, I'm always just going to go to like marketing, because they get my mail, they're going to see my face, and my campaign is going to be something around the lines of like, are you ready to buy? Are you sick and tired of renting? Are you annoyed with your neighbors? Are you out of space? Tired of being told how many cats you can't have, like whatever. I mean, whatever it is.
Punchline is always, your pets deserve a bigger backyard or something along the lines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot, right? So yeah, but yeah, just watch which complex. Most of them don't really love soliciting, but so for me, it's going to be marketing. In which case I'm putting it through the Postal Service. Yeah. Yep. Cool. Good work, you guys. I am. Which one is it? Would define old people house. What's that mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Jason. 55 and older and peculiar. I probably better look at it, actually. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, we need to do something with it.